rather than me just sit here and let my clients tell me what to do, it's so much more beneficial for us to actually work together, and they don't feel alone as a
Yes.
result either. And they, I can just have weekly meetings with some of my clients, and we just sit there and chat for an hour, and they walk away and they're so much happier because they know that they're not alone in their business. They're not sitting in their offices, in their houses and being on their own. And that's the greatest thing for them more than anything. And also for me.
And it's really interesting. I was literally just having this conversation this week, as solo or even small team, small businesses, it can be really hard. You mentioned the loneliness, but also just like getting out of your own way and thinking strategically and planning and looking at the bigger picture, setting the vision, the big stuff. It can be really hard when you're by yourself in your
Oh,
house behind your laptop, like, and you're like, oh my God, the to-do list, all this stuff. Like, sometimes you need that person to actually have the sounding board and those larger, more strategic conversations.
100%. And it's a funny one. Like I think back to, I had a meeting with a client yesterday, and the reason we have fortnightly meetings, and one of the things that we realized a few weeks ago is, and everyone's guilty of this, like we all freeze up when we have to talk about our own businesses. Not everyone is like naturally able to be put on the spot and talk about their
Mm,
business. Happens to me sometimes, happens
mm.
to everybody, but it's really funny, like with this particular client, and I love her to bits. The second I get her talking about a subject that she's passionate about, she'll go.
Yeah.
Like, but put her in front of a camera and trying to get her to do that for a social media reel won't happen. So we actually teed this up yesterday, and I said, right, I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'm not going to put you on the spot because you're going to know that I'm going to start doing this. And so we did like a pseudo interview where we literally just for an hour talked, and we recorded the whole thing. And I pretty much have gone away, and I think we've now probably got a good two months worth of real content out of that discussion.
That is so good.
But it was so good for her because she's like, all I needed was somebody to talk to.
Yes.
And it's just that whole concept of, she said, and as she said to me, she's like, if I'd have had to have done that in front of a camera, I would have seized up on my own. I would have got nervous, even though there's nobody in the room to put pressure on me. She said, it's just because it's me internalizing and putting pressure on myself. But because I'm here and it's just me and her having a conversation, it was just so much easier, and it just took the pressure off. And it's just good to have somebody there who you can
Mm.
almost spitball ideas off. And
Yeah.
even, and I know that's been the greatest thing for me, is just knowing that I've got somebody there that I can talk to as well. And
Mm.
that's what I love about my clients, because they're just as interested in my business as I am in their businesses. So it kind of goes both ways. Like my client from yesterday, she's getting married in 4 weeks' time.
Oh,
And
cool.
she was telling me all, and they're getting married in Dublin. And
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so she's in the process of planning an international wedding. And she was telling me all about it. And she's like, oh my God, my bridal shower is going to be in this amazing restaurant. And I was like, have you done your bridal shower invites? And she's like, oh no. She's like, oh, I was just going to do an email. And I'm like, I'm going to do those
I
for
don't
you.
think
And
so.
she's like, oh my God, can you make them look pretty? And I'm like, leave them with me. And so it's that whole beautiful thing of, she's like, she knows what I do on the side. And she's like, I'm just going to leave them with you. And it's, yeah, it's that beautiful rapport. I love it. And I'm so incredibly blessed with my clients that I have. Like I've got such like-minded clients that, yeah, I love them all to bits, and they're the greatest assets that we have as a business.